Oh, so much is happening in San Luis Obispo. The Presbyterian church that you invited me to, Jackie, she came forward and she introduced some information that Voice of Obispo didn't have. And that was that in the month of March, traditionally San Luis Obispo has what they call a homeless shelter overflow. And churches, not very many, just a couple in San Luis Obispo, are taking on that responsibility and giving a place for homeless people to live. They can only handle just a month. The Presbyterian Church is opening up their Wilson Hall for an entire month, every single night. Talk about commitment. I mean, that's bringing happiness to our streets. That's getting people to feel okay about what? Themselves.
I think it's, if you look back on some of the great quotes of happiness in history, I particularly remember Abraham Lincoln. Most people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. Mm-hmm. I heard that once about 20 years ago, and I thought to myself, I think I can use that, and I've basically been happy ever since. No grandparents.
Abraham Lincoln.
My grandparents are all deceased. Mm-hmm. And I thought, when my grandma died, I thought, well, at least she's not suffering. And I asked the pastor, I said, Pastor, I'm sad that she's gone, but at least she's not suffering. And the pastor looked at me. He didn't say a word, but in his eyes I could see it all. Child, if you can find any happiness amidst such sorrow, hang tightly to it.
So is this a soul matter when you hold on to your happiness?
I think focusing on things that make you happy helps you be happy. I quote Tolkien, when your heart wants lifting, think one thoughts.
And that's all inward. Well, naturally.
Yes, you're only going to find happiness in here. I mean,
that's funny because Aristotle said that in order to live happily, you need an inward understanding of a view that the soul is capable of that. So you have to know you're capable before you can even locate that happiness. Is that true?
I read somewhere, power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity, or something like that. I forget exactly what it was. But the fact is that we can be restored to whatever happiness or whatever we're looking for means that at some point in time we must have had it. And I think back on my life, and there was times when I was genuinely happy.
Was that derived because of maybe love within the family as a child and nurturement? For
me, happiness has always been fleeting, like money. Money, well, I had $5. And you look at it as if you had $5, and that was then. Mm-hmm. Or you can say, well, I have $1. And it's only $1, but it's $1. It's something I have. It's something tangible. Mm-hmm. Happiness is fleeting, the joy, that spirit of knowing that it's going to be okay no matter what. Mm-hmm. It might rain tomorrow, but if it rains tomorrow, instead of going out on the picnic, the day after tomorrow, the hills will be green. And I like green mountains. I'm very fond of green mountains. Vermont is a very pretty state.
Very beautiful, very beautiful. And at this time, we have some beautiful mountains around San Luis Obispo as well.
It's rained a little bit.
Oh, the rain's been awesome. And the rain makes me feel happy. It puts me in a mood.
I love the smell of the rain. The smell of the road after the rain. You go out after the rain, it smells like, it's like getting off the road when you've been on your motorcycle all day. Just, that feeling of the dust and the exhaustion. Your kidneys have been shaking like this all day. And you finally climb off your cycle and just, that dusty smell. When you go to have a really cold soda, I don't drink beer, it's a side note, but, I used to go and just have a really cold soda and maybe sit down and eat a hot dog.
Loving yourself.
Yeah, love yourself.
I'd like to really pick you up on that, and I'd like to, that's what lifts the heart, is when you are capable of giving yourself that love and giving yourself that inward, knowledge that you're capable of holding on to the happiness in your soul after a death or after a disappointment even.
I know a little bit about death. I've been around. I've seen a few of them. In fact, the past 23 years or so, I've buried about 14 people, 14 friends, and most of them died tragically. But there were those 2 or 3 that went out just living to the end, and I don't want to die with my song still in me. I want to, if my song is singing Peggy Lee, in karaoke, then that's what I want to do.
That's funny.
But
When I look at the living life to its fullest, drugs, substance abuse, and then losing a job and being on the street, and then how a church is picking up that heavy burden that we're finding in society, and we're able to cultivate love. That's very important. It's the cultivation of the love. Victor Hugo, his family has a winery out in Templeton. He said, when he was living, he was a great writer, Hugo, very close to Friedrich Chopin. They're very close friends. Hugo says, in order to have the happiness, you have to have a conviction that you are loved, no matter who you are and what you are. And that has to do with, I think, in poverty, or when you go out and you have yourself a cola and taking care of yourself.
Well, I want to be loved despite myself. I mean, I want people to be able to say, she's a bitch, but I love her. I want to be loved.